Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Crea. It's early, but this is some pretty impressive stuff. Led by four-year head coach Malcolm Wynn, the men are gearing up for the playoffs after last year's tough defeat in the CCC Finals to Wentworth. Al Jefferson has evolved into one of the premier big men in the NBA. With a 10-point win over the Jets, the Pats' perfect season now moves to 14-0. It's early, but this is some pretty impressive stuff. The Red Sox pitching staff is now ranked second in Major League Baseball in team ERA. And today, Curt Schilling provided their 10th quality start in their first 13 games. Since his opening day disappointment, the Boston blogger has come back with back-to-back great starts tonight, blanking the Angels for 8 innings. Let's kick it over to Fenway Park now. Third inning, no score. Schilling is definitely going to have to send a thank you note over to Mike Lowe for this one. Whoop! Robs him. Nice catch. He's representing the hot corner and doing it very well. Looked like the Red Sox are going to blow an opportunity here with bases loaded in the third inning. This time we can thank Gary Matthews Jr. for bobbling that one out in center field. That would have been the third out in the inning. Instead, 2 runs will score. Red Sox will take the early 2-0 lead. Another mishap here when pitcher Chris Boothcheck loses control of this one. Wild pitch, and Dustin Pedroia sprints home from third to make it 3-0 Sox. More than enough for Schilling today, who dominated. He had 4 Ks and only gave up 4 hits. No Angel batter got past second base. One bright spot, though, Mysars Turris, third baseman. Yikes, lays out for that one. Robs Veritek of the extra bases. The Red Sox had 8 hits today and drew 9 walks. That definitely helped, especially when David Ortiz rips him down the line. Julio Lugo comes around to score for the 4th run to make the lead 4-0. Manny Ramirez also followed with a single here. He scores Eric Hinsky. Hinsky actually started today instead of Kevin Youkilis. And as he started, he scored 3 runs today. And who else, guys, but David Ortiz. He goes yard, straightaway center field, bomb, 3-run blast. That caps off the runs. 8-0 Red Sox. And the Red Sox move on and score. They're outscoring the Angels 18-1 in the series. If Father knows best, then Greg Oden is going to enter the NBA draft. The 7-foot Ohio State center, expected to be taken with the first overall pick, hasn't expressed his intentions, but Greg Oden Sr. has. He told the Indianapolis Star that his son has decided to turn pro and that he's comfortable with his son's decision. This news is of special interest of the Celtics, who clinched the 2nd worst record in the NBA last night. That gives him a pretty good chance to grab the number 1 pick, Oden, who was the leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker for the Buckeyes last season. A soccer blowout? You see it as often as you see a cello player in a marching band. But who says you can't score a lot of goals in soccer? In their home opener tonight at Gillette Stadium, the Revolution blew out Toronto. And in the process, the Revolution scored their 500th goal in franchise history. Let's kick it over to the highlights now. In the 12th minute of play, the Revs are putting on the pressure. Taylor Twellman finds himself at the right place at the right time, and he drops one in for the early 1-0 lead. Twellman had 2 on the night. 6 minutes later came his other goal. Steve Ralston makes a perfect cross to Twellman, and he decides, hey, I'm going to use my head. 2-0 lead here. Charlie Joseph and Andy Dorman also scored for the Revs. Dorman's was the 500th goal in franchise history. And New England beats Toronto 4-0. I'm Drew Crea, CPT Sports. Boston Celtics center Al Jefferson, in his 3rd season with Boston, says this season has had its ups and downs.
We got a lot out of the losing streak, but things kind of looking together. Looking good for us, and it's looking good for the future.
Averaging 15 points, 11 boards a game, Jefferson has made quite the name for himself after 2 injury-prone seasons.
Going through my ups and downs, my injuries, it's just you got to learn a lot, you got to experience a lot. I see us being a playoff team, and I see us being a championship team. It's going to have to be a lot of hard work and a lot of focus and sacrifice and dedication.
And as for Al's future in a C's uniform, he sees himself accomplishing those championship goals here in Boston.
As myself, I see myself, doing all that with this team, just being in the green and white. So, it's a bright future for us.
Head coach Doc Rivers couldn't agree with Al more.
Well, I want him to be in green and white forever. There's no doubt about that. And I expect big things. I think he has a chance to be one of the top power forwards or centers in the league, in the game someday. Definitely one of the top scorers.
Al Jefferson has evolved into one of the premier big men in the NBA. His dedication to the game of basketball grows every day. yet he always gives credit where credit is due.
I have to say my two grandmothers and my mama.
And his advice for college students who are about the same age?
You know, you got to, if you know what you want, you got to do whatever you got to do to get it. You know what I mean by that? You got to work hard. You got to, when other people is out partying at the movies or at the mall, you need to be in the gym. You know, you need to be in the gym when you think nobody else in the gym.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Crea. It was a fun day today in Foxborough. Not a pretty day, but a fun one for the Pats and their fans. With a 10-point win over the Jets, the Pats' perfect season now moves to 14-0. Fans knew exactly what to do with the snow in their seats, tossing it in the air like fireworks. That was cool. But this was not. Some fans deciding to throw ice balls onto the field. Dangerous enough that the referees had to stop the game momentarily. Here's what the Patriots players had to say about all of this.
Oh, man, that was bad. That was the fans, shame on you. Shame on you, fans. Thank you for coming out to watch us, though. They had to stop the game for the snow balls. That was funny. That was a first for me. I've never seen, that happen before.
I found it hilarious. Actually, I told Tommy on the sideline, I think it was either the first touchdown, it was the Geno Wilson's pick to the house, and they start throwing snowballs, and I started looking, and the whole stadium was doing it.
So now Moss and the Patriots are 14-0 and just 2 wins away from becoming the first team ever to finish a season at 16-0. This Sunday in Foxborough, it's the Dolphins coming to town. Speaking of the Dolphins, Miami is no longer winless. It takes overtime for the Dolphins to get their first win, but they get it done. Dolphins force the Ravens into overtime, and it's Cleo Lemons over the middle to receiver Greg Camarillo, and he goes 64 yards for Miami's first win of the year. The Dolphins will not go 0-16. It was a winter wonderland in Cleveland, an old-fashioned snow bowl game off Lake Erie. And anything can happen in the snow. Look at the ball bounce off Cleveland's Braylon Edwards and right into the arms of teammate Joe Jaravicious. The snow was not good for Buffalo. Snap goes over Bills punter Brian Moorman's head, and he's forced to kick it out of the end zone. Cleveland wins 8-0, and the Browns are now 9-5. One other football note from today, Brett Favre passes Dan Marino on the all-time NFL list for passing yards by a quarterback. That's sports for tonight. I'm Andrew Crea.